so here are the notes on how to graph a linear equation. Today, all I need you to really do is be able to graph from an equation. We can worry about the other two pieces to the learning target, the objective, when I come back. You will be taking a homework check over how to graph a linear function when I get back on Monday. Okay, so if you have questions, come see me Friday, email them to me, do something. Okay, you can even Google it and get a different video if you don't like my video. I won't be offended. All right, so to start, you need to have some steps. So the first step when you're graphing a linear equation, whoops, sorry. Oh gosh, this thing's been acting weird now, I'm nervous. You're gonna find, yep, 1 second. You're gonna find the slope is what you're gonna do. And some of you may remember this stuff from previous classes, and that's fantastic if you do. Okay. So you want to first, oh gosh, this is going to make me very aggravated, I'm sorry. First step. First step is to get a program that will work. First step is you want to find your y-intercept. So if you're looking at that first example, your y-intercept is the constant, the thing that's not attached to x. So if my first step is find y-intercept, sorry, this is so messy, I haven't used this in a long time. Out of practice. You need to find the y-intercept, and then you need to plot it. Okay? Remember, when you're doing this, this is from the origin. So what I mean is you're plotting a point. The y-intercept is just a point. So when I go to plot the y-intercept, my y-intercept is -2. I'm going to make my coordinates kind of go right through the center. You don't have to. If you're looking and you're like, oh man, my y-intercept is like 10. I would move this origin way down so I have enough room to put a 10. Like this only goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The highest y-intercept I could put here would be a +5. Move this if you need to. It doesn't have to be in the center. 1, 2. So -2, I'm plotting my y-intercept right there. -2, -2. All right. So now my next step needs to be use my slope. So use slope to get second point. Okay? So what that means is that, like on this example, I have a slope of 3. You need to have a rise and a run, so I'm going to make this 3 over 1. Okay? 3 divided by 1 is just 3. So I'm changing how the number looks, but I'm not changing the actual value of it. So my slope is 3 over 1. So that means that I have a rise of 3 and a run of 1. So from my y-intercept, from the point that I already have, not from the origin, from the point I already have, I'm going to do a rise of 3, so up 1, 2, 3, over 1. And I'm going to make a point there. Slope tells you how the line changes for the whole line. So if I wanted to, I could continue up 3 over 1. Technically, I only need 2 points. I do more because I'm not good at drawing lines, and the more points I have, the easier it is. Because this is a line, it doesn't stop right here. It continues down and to the left. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then left 1. There's 2 ways to think about why I would do down and to the left. One way is because this is a line. It needs to continue in this direction. I'm not going to go down 3, right 1, because all of a sudden I'm starting this like V shape. It needs to be a line. The second way to think about it is -3 over -1 is equal to 3 over 1. These two negatives would cancel out and go back to a positive 3 over 1. If I were to graph negative 3 over 1, it would be down 3, left 1. Two different ways to think about it. There's my line. Make sure you connect your points. Put some arrows on the end so everybody knows that this continues in that pattern of up 3 over 1 for eternity. Okay, here's my next one. So my first step was to find my y-intercept. So my y-intercept for this problem will be positive 4. Y-intercept is 4. Alright, so that's nothing too crazy. I want to go right in the center with my axes. Nothing to worry about. Okay, y-intercept of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make a point right there. My second step is to find my slope and use it to get another point. Okay, well, there's my slope, not the x, just the numbers in front of it, the coefficient. So my slope, is negative 2 over 3. So I can either think of that as negative 2 over positive 3, or 2 over negative 3. Either one is fine. So if we're doing the second one, I'm going to go down 2, because it's rise, and negative means down, over run of 3. That 3 is positive. I'm going to go over 3. There's a point. If I want to do the other one, I would go up 2. I'm going to kind of run out of room. And then over 1, 2, 3. Okay, so either one is going to continue that line. Either one is fine. Okay, we'll do the next couple. Perhaps we'll do the next couple. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright, so number 3. You're looking at the same thing, right? You want a y-intercept. So your y-intercept will be negative 3. Negative 3 is not too bad. I'll go right in the center again. I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3, since it's negative. There's my y-intercept. My next step is to find the slope and use it to plot a second point at least. Okay, so there's no number in front of x. If you were going to solve an equation, you would put a 1 there, right? That's 1x. I just don't need the 1. So my slope here is 1. To make it a fraction, I'm going to put it over another 1, so I have a rise and a run. I'm not putting a 1 here because this was a 1. I'm putting a 1 here because dividing by a 1 doesn't change the value of the numerator. It doesn't change the number at all. It just makes it look different. So here's my y-intercept. My slope is 1 over 1, so I'm going to go up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. I'm going to continue that pattern. You only need 2 points. I'm going to do it because my lines look bad. I could also go down 1, left 1, because a negative 1 over a negative 1 is a different way to write the same thing. This is equivalent to this. These negatives would cancel. There's my line. Connect them. Oh gosh. Put some arrows on the end so people know they go forever. Okay, number 4 is a little different. Number 4 only has, and I want you to write this somewhere, one variable. It does not have an x and a y. This is the first time you've seen that on this paper. Okay? When you only have one variable, you are not going to have a slanted line. Okay, you're going to have a straight line. One variable, you're going to have, and straight's not a good word. You're going to either have a horizontal or a vertical line. So here, if you were to make a table of values for x and y, just kind of humor me for a minute, I want to show you something. Let's say I told you to make x negative 1, 0, 1. Plug them into this equation and tell me what y will be. Well, there's nowhere to plug in an x of negative 1. This equation doesn't care what x is. If x is negative 1, this says y will still be a 4. If x is 0, this equation doesn't care. it says y will still be a 4. And again, if x is 1, there's no place to plug that in. There's no x value there. So y will still be a 4. If x changes, y doesn't care. Y does not change in relation to x. X isn't part of this equation. So if I'm going to graph this equation, I don't have a slope and a y-intercept and all of that, really, because I don't have y equals mx plus b form. There's no x. So here, I'm just going to plot these points. If x is negative 1, y is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If x is 0, y is 4. If x is 1, y is 4. Hoping you see a pattern. If x is 2, y is 4. If x is 3, y is 4. Y is 4 all the time. All of those points, y is 4. That is your line. So when you have y equals a number, it's a horizontal line through that number. Okay? That's different. There's only one variable here. That's different. Scroll again. And by let's, I mean me. Let me scroll. You guys turn the page, I guess. Oh my goodness. Maybe. Maybe it will just not listen to me at all. Alright. We're just going to worry about 5 and 6 today. We'll do the rest when I get back, okay? So on this, that next one, if you notice, that's just one variable, right? That's just x equals negative 5. So this is like the one that we did before. Excuse me. Oh gosh. The only difference is that now it's an x. So no matter what your y value is, x will always be negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If y is 0, x will be negative 5. If y is 1, x will be negative 5. Sorry. Okay, so you don't care what y value you are given. X is always negative 5. That means you're going to have a straight vertical, although all lines are straight, I'm sorry. You're going to have a vertical line at x equals negative 5. Last one, and then you can go do your homework. Number 6. This has both a y and an x, so don't get confused and think it's going to be horizontal or vertical. This is still going to be a slanted line. The thing that's different here is there's no y-intercept. A number that represents none is 0. So there must have been a plus 0 here, and then nobody had to write it, because 0 doesn't change anything. So now you're going to have the same steps you had before. You're going to find your y-intercept. My y-intercept here, even though I had to write it in, my y-intercept is 0. Okay, so there's a point at 0. My slope, oh gosh, my slope is 3. I'm going to put it 3 over 1, so I have a rise and a run. So for my y-intercept is 0, I'm going to go up 3, 2, 3, over 1, make a point. I could also go down 3 and go to the left. That's still the same line. Okay? Okay, so now for your homework. Excuse me. That is super loud, I apologize. For your homework, you are going to go to Google Classroom. If it will. O1 or O2, whichever one you're in. I'm going to go to O1. Your codes are right here. It has the wrong date, and I'm sorry. But your codes are on here. So for Orange 1, here's your code. Orange 2, go to your own class. I'm going to go here. I'm going to copy that. Down here on the bottom, put in your test code. You're going to find your name. And you're going to graph these lines. So you have your notes to look at. Here, there's an x and a y, so it's going to be slanted. There's no y-intercept. So I'm going to go to 0, make a point. That's -2, which is the same as -2 over 1. So from my from my y-intercept, I'm going to go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. And the line appears. Hit OK. It'll tell you over here if you're right or wrong, and I'll go to the next one. Again, my y-intercept, there's nothing there, so it's a 0. I'm going to go down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. You have to do 3 dots on this program for it to make a line. Y-intercept of 8. So I'm going to go up to 8, make a point. Down 2, because it's -2, over 3. If I didn't have room to continue in that direction, remember I could also go up 2, and then -3. I could pretend that negative was on the 3 instead of the 2. Double check. That's going downhill. It should, because it's a negative slope. Okay. All right. Let me know if you guys have any questions.